Welcome to Pixel Wankers, home of the wankin' pixels.
You wankin' pixels.
I'm Scott.
I'm Mitch.
Crow.
And Tim.
We're the Pixel Wankers. Every time it's so awkward after that whole thing, like.
And we are the Pixel Wankers!
Awkwardly moving on.
We just need a little guitar animation and have like some ridiculous like lightning.
It'd be the Bill and Ted's.
Yeah.
Wild Stallions! Shawing, shawing. All right, so what's on the agenda today?
We are talking about music and media.
Yeah.
Video games, film, why it's important, why some people leave it out, and that's a terrible idea.
The power of music.
Yes.
The power of movie.
Yeah, like where it's moved you, whether it was good or bad, you know. So, do you guys want to discuss games first or movies first?
I'll discuss games a little bit because this is something that pops up quite a bit. So, one of the things I do is the Games Guild, the Utah Games Guild, and so I talk to a lot of indie game developers. And music is something that people, like, more than half the time don't even think about until after they're done making the game, or they get close to the end. They go, "Oh yeah, we need a soundtrack," or "Oh yeah, sound effects," or "Oh yeah," like they don't understand how important of a role music and sound effects are in not only like how this game makes you feel, but how you can drive a game with it, and how you can hint at mechanics with it, and how you can use it to your advantage, or how you can use it to kind of dissuade your player from going to a certain spot. It's such a powerful tool that is so oftentimes overlooked, and it's really unfortunate because people have really great ideas and mechanics are really good and things may look good, but without good music, you can kind of kill a game.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
For
definitely.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, like, right off the bat, things that strike me is like everyone knows, like Mario Brothers. Everyone knows Mario Brothers. Everyone, and why is that a good song? Like, my wife didn't know a lot about games when I first met her, and I introduced her to like Mario music and things like that, and she was like, "Wow, this song's actually pretty technically involved. It's not just a simple like boop boop beep beep boop boop. It's not a stupid song. It's like it's a pretty like technically involved song. Someone actually spent some time orchestrating that. And all of the Mario music is pretty much that way. I mean, there are games that I don't like, but like even the sound effects in Mario, like I was looking at your shirt, the star, when you get the star power, like it's probably the most annoying song in the whole thing. But when you get star power, it's like that jazzed up, like crazy, almost like rush,
over caffeinated.
Same thing with like Donkey Kong when you get the hammer. It's like this kind of like, I guess, march to getting you there, so getting you there. So I mean,
very comfortable with that
it's so ingrained, and it's so important to other people, to people's experience. When I first heard Mario Brothers, I was like, wow, this is cool. This isn't just. And that's kind of what diversified like Mario versus Sonic. Because Sonic, not that it had bad music, it has good music.
Sure.
But it's not as iconic as Mario.
But Mario got you there.
Mario got me there.
No, but with that specifically, like that was something that they thought through very, very, very well. And it wasn't an afterthought. It was them thinking, okay, we need something catchy. We need something that we can put on repeat. We need something like they did in Star Wars that it's a Star Wars song. Yeah. Just because of a tune that they inject into everything. And the same goes for Mario. There's a little tune that's injected into almost every single Mario song that really solidifies the brand. And that's super important. So the brand solidification, having it catchy and having it not be like annoying catchy, because there's games that every 30 seconds you're like, oh god, this song is starting over. Oh god, the song is starting over. Yeah. And it just drives you crazy. But it's something that I think had a lot of time spent on it. To pull people in and keep them, and so every time that's played, it's reminded of, oh yeah, Mario, or oh yeah, I like this level, oh yeah, but it's something that really drives their brand.
What about also like, because Mario's super like ingrained. People have done remix after remix, cover of Mario music on different instruments and stuff. But what about simple stuff like sound effects? Like the sound effects on Asteroids or the sound effects on Pac-Man. You know, it's it's simple. It's not like nothing, but it's like they did engineer it in a way that it's still interesting. Like you said, wonk wonk wonk.
Yeah.
That's what it is, but it's just a repetitive beep.
It is, but it wasn't. It was something that they could have used anything. Can you imagine Pac-Man being gang 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 gang? Like nobody would want to play that.
Here's me sort of going into a bit of game design. I apologize, but the like Pac-Man sound effect, is so like it's so clever because it's such a like low bassy tone, and you get that like, and it just sort of builds and builds and builds, and you get that pressure feeling.
Yeah,
and that also like enhances the mechanics of the game itself because you're like, oh man, this is getting pretty intense. There's this ghost on my trial, and it's just like. Wagga, 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 and it's just that constant like Space Invaders does it. It's a classic example of that. Dun 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 dun, dun and it gets more and more like, and it just it builds up the tension like really well. So.
One of my favorite games that did that, but this is more theatrical because obviously it's a newer game. But Shadows of the Colossus, I love that game.
Oh,
and if you listen to the sound, like not only just the sound effects, but the sound, like engineering, as you're climbing up the Colossus, it's like. You know, like getting intense. But as you get to the top, it's like dun dun dun. You know, like you're smashing him in the face. It's like the tempo builds to that too, and not only the tempo, but the actual instruments slightly change and the melodies changes too, which builds that final like.
And then you get that resolution song of like when you finally land on the ground. And that soundtrack is probably one of the greatest. It's so good.
It's like one of the best parts of the game, even though that game is like really good by itself. That puts it over the top. That's what makes it great, rather than just it was fun. That's know,
music and sound effects will make or break a game, make or break a movie. I mean, film. Like when we first said, "Oh, maybe we should do something about music," and like Foley, all I was thinking in my head was. You know, that little thing, you're like, oh my god, I'm gonna get killed. You know, you can just hear it, and it's done so well and so subtly. Again, it is like Mitch was saying, in game design, that's something that's building up and it's causing pressure, and it's something that you hear again. You go, okay, like these aliens are going faster now because you hear it.
Yeah.
You know? But it's something that they've designed as a part of the mechanic to let you know what's going on and to kind of. Foreshadow something, which is amazing.
What's your opinion, Steve?
Music, kind of like you guys are saying, I kind of think it's one of the most key things that you're going to have. It's one of the things that, like, if it's done really well, you probably won't notice it the first time you watch a movie because you're not going to pay attention to it. It's not going to detract from the movie. It's just going to intensify the movie. So, or even like the game, like the only reason I even ever played Mass Effect, like the Mass Effect franchise, is because I tried to get into 1 and the gameplay was awful, and then I kind of took a pass at 2 and it wasn't great, and then I tried the demo for 3 when it came out on Xbox 360, and I was like, I got to the end of the demo and there's a part where a little kid loads up onto a shuttle and the shuttle gets shot down right as it takes off.
Yeah.
And it has this little like piano that plays out, and it's just like this really cool, like it just feels almost like desperate and like. It feels like there's no hope in it, but it's just got like this really cool like one note thing that they do for the Reapers, and it's like, bah, you know, and it gets all like heavy, but it's with this piano, and it was like so emotionally moving. I was like, all right, I'm going through them. Let's do it. And I didn't go through 1, but I did get the DLC, so I could answer all like the things and get all like the story implications and move forward with. But it was literally the music that pulled me in, and I don't know. It's like. It's funny because some of the examples you had, it's almost like they made the music, but I don't necessarily know like if they thought like how iconic it would be. You know, it's like those Mario sounds. Like I'm not a Nintendo kid, and that stuff is still like really really prominent. Like I hear da-na-na-na-na-na.
Yeah,
everybody knows you're on the fire level. Like that's it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's funny because. They transcended what they are, and I think that music is one of the few things that really can do that. Every once in a while you get a character that will do it. I think like Darth Vader and the Joker are 2 characters that do, but with music it's kind of like it's so key, and it translates through everything.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like you get one cool saying in America, it's gonna like lose its effect in Russia, but it's like that Mario feeling still has the same appeal in Russia. It's got the same appeal in Japan. Like, music's universal.
Well, do you guys know of any games that have contrasting visuals to music, like really good music but really poor visuals, or really great visuals but really poor music? Because I have another question to add on to that, but do you guys know of any?
So Super Hexagon is one of the most super simply made, if you guys have ever played Super Hexagon, it's like two-dimensional flat, and you're a triangle getting out of a maze of hexagons that are just slowly getting smaller.
Yeah.
But the music that they put to the beats of that just drive you crazy because it feels so intense, and then the faster things get, the faster the music they use, and it's amazing. Their use of music-driven games is incredible, and I think there's a lot of games that are starting to do that, using music as kind of the mechanic to drive the game, and that's super cool.
Yeah. You guys know of any?
I don't have one that's like contrasting, but I have like one of the best examples I can think of.
What's that?
Of like great visuals and great soundtrack. Silent Hill 2.
Oh, dude.
If you'd allow me to get on my soapbox for a minute and
Please
just
do.
gush about Silent Hill.
Get on your soapbox.
The game is a masterpiece of survival horror.
Yeah.
It's self-contained. There's no sort of branching storyline other than the fact that the town is the same. Like the basic sort of premise is you play as James Sunderland. You're looking for your wife. You got a letter from her the other day, but she's been dead for 3 years. So you're like, what the hell's going on here? And she's like, come to Silent Hill. Come meet me in the place we used to meet when we, and so it's like, well, yeah, pretty much. But you say that, but there's an underlying theme of sexual repression throughout the whole game.
Yeah.
It's really abundant. Like all the monsters are kind of over-sexualized and glossy. They're like, there's a ton of like just sort of weird sort of stuff in the walls that kind of look kind of gross and sexy and weird, and like this everything's covered in flesh and tight, and it's just kind of you get that real sort of vibe from it, but like going back to like sound design real quick is like, first of all, the soundtrack is phenomenal. You get like pianos and ambient tones that kind of go with the really eerie sort of visuals of the fog-covered Silent Hill. But then you also get these really sort of industrial, like almost like Blue Man Group sort of like oil drums banging and like pistons hitting, and like whenever you're fighting like the monsters in Pyramid Head, and then you'll get just periods of nothing, just silence, and you'll just have the sound of like your own footsteps or creatures in the distance.
But that's not silence too. Like
that's
been engineered
the room
itself also.
The room itself is silent. I meant to say, like,
the use of silence can be super, super appropriate
because it builds up so much tension. Like and like all the sort of monsters are they make kind of sloppy sort of fleshy footsteps, like meats of flesh just hitting the ground, and when you kill them, like they sort of moan and writhe, like. It's kind of gross and like weird, but it's such a great like
slashy meaty sounds, moans and grinds.
Well, and again, it's deliberate because it backs up that theme. It reinforces that sort of underlying theme. And also you have your radio which goes off whenever monsters come near. So again, it's not just like a proximity warning. It's like a sort of It's almost mechanical sound. It's not quite a static.
It's that static, isn't it?
Yeah, it's static, but it's not just regular. It's sort of tinny. It's sort of like mechanical.
Yeah.
And it throws you off. It sort of gears you in the mind for combat. It sort of gears you like, okay, there's an enemy nearby, but it's sort of like, I wish that thing would shut up. Like it's just sort of buzzing. So it kind of like psychs you out a little bit when you're up against these kind of gross creatures.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's like a more prominent genre that music and sound design plays heavier to than survival horror. Because I mean, in horror, it's literally even like when, like you were just saying, like when there's a lack of sound, it's designed. So everything you hear like is your cue, and when you're not hearing anything, you're worried, like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah,
And it
one
could
of
be
the
nothing.
one of the best like things that I can think of as an example for that is in Dead Space. One of the original Dead Space, in one of the scariest rooms in the whole game, is you walk into this room. There's no creatures. There's no nothing. It's just a giant turbine, and there's a light behind it, so it's like strobe lighting.
Yeah.
And there's like just ear-piercing like machinery. It's so loud you can't hear yourself think. It's just like constant.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what is going on? Like you're just like screaming, like it's just so loud you can't find the exit. You're trying to look, but it's so.
Then Mrs. Mom comes in. You want some cupcakes?
Yeah, pretty much.
Shut up, Mom!
Yeah, but no, it's
Why would
it's
you
sort
pick
of
on
like
his mom knowing that she watches this?
yeah,
I'm
it
brings you
every
candy.
episode.
I'm
man.
teasing.
What a jackass. You're a sweetheart, Mitch's mom.
He
Scott's a
wants more
jackass.
hippos. I'm just saying.
Oh, I do want more hippos. They're awesome.
But yeah, that room is just so scary because you don't know you can't hear anything. Even if there was a creature there, you wouldn't be able to hear it attack
Yeah.
you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so like loud. It's like I just want to get out. I just want to be done with it.
Plus,
you know?
isn't that interesting dynamic too? Even if you saw your character getting beat up but with some sort of monster, isn't that funny to think that the sound effects would be more piercing than the monster attacking you, and they almost keep those sounds silent?
Yeah, and
Because
they
that
have
would be
it.
kind of an interesting move.
They
too.
have it in the space sections when you go outside of the spaceship. You just hear muffles of like whatever's inside your suit.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get hit, you only hear like the interior of like you getting hit. You don't hear the creature scream as it leaps at you. You know.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
you're gonna get that kind of muffled,
That's
like
awesome.
as if you're sort of shifting inside your suit. you
Well,
know?
here's my question back onto the contrasting game experience. Do you think it's possible? Because we're all visual people, we're all artists and stuff. And as anyone knows from listening to our podcast, we're not sound engineers, but we try to do our best.
Working on it.
But do you think it's possible to create a game that has very no visual cues but really great sound, or vice versa, a game that has very poor sound but awesome visuals? Because I think indie games sometimes fall into that category a bit too.
I honestly think that it would be possible, and I think it would actually be super interesting to create a completely deaf game that has nothing but visual cues at all. And although that would
But does that ruin the whole sound argument that we're talking about here?
No, it doesn't, because that's essentially something that's catered to and played towards an audience, and playing on something that a small group of people experience and allowing everybody else to experience those things. So I don't think that would be something like across the board would be amazing, but I think that having something like that could be super interesting to play through.
Are you almost talking about like a simulator for almost like to kind of simulate what it's like to be deaf?
Not necessarily
Or-
like a simulator, but a game that caters towards some people that can't hear would be very interesting to me.
That'd be
You know,
cool.
because there's a lot of cues that we use and people that design games use, like in Silent Hill, that if you couldn't hear, it's going to throw off your experience, and it's going to throw off maybe a cue to do something or not to do something. So to be able to play something that has no audio at all and you have to visually find cues would be cool. But on the other side of that, having a game that would be very limited in your visual cues and have nothing but audio cues, I think would be mind-blowing. Just to have, especially
Crazy.
like a surround sound that you're just working off of sounds to get places, and you really have nothing.
But if
to
you have no
direct you.
visuals, how do you know?
No visuals, because like in games, game design will lead you somewhere.
Yeah.
Every game is going to lead you somewhere.
Yeah.
But if you pull that element out of game design and you create a level that's literally just open, like if you threw someone in Grand Theft Auto 5 and all you gave them was sound effects to lead them somewhere, that would be very interesting.
Yeah. What if someone turned the whole screen black and the only thing that made vision was sound? Like a pipe dripping in the corner it's a black room, but the only thing you see is the pipe dripping in the corner.
So you
because
want to
that's
make a
making the
Daredevil
sound.
video game?
Isn't that kind of interesting? No, not necessarily like the whole X-ray Daredevil can see the droplets. That shit's crappy, but just a fun. I don't know if it would be a really playable game for a long period of time, but it might be a fun exercise or a fun.
Well,
demo.
there is one. It's
I
called
was gonna say
The Unfinished Swan, right?
Yeah, the Unfinished Swan is just like that, and it was actually super interesting if you've never played that.
Yeah, it's completely white, and you can hear sound effects, and you can throw paint. So you're throwing black paint or ink or whatever, and it splats, and it will create the shape of, it will drip down the shape of whatever you're throwing it at.
Oh.
So if you can hear a lake and you're throwing it, you'll see it. Sometimes it sort of hits the water and dissipates. Sometimes it hits the bank and hits lily pads and stuff.
Huh.
And you
That's
paint
cool.
the environment. Like
Yeah. We should link
Damn.
that so people can look at that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll,
it is
we'll,
super
we'll
interesting.
put a link in the
Mhm.
description or whatever.
Yeah. So aside from that, both of those would be super interesting experiments.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But I think overall, like across the board, audio plays a huge part in your experience in a film, your experience in a game. Yeah, go on.
What's your ultimate favorite? I'd said Shadow of the Colossus, I think, is my ultimate favorite game with, especially with the sound and the design. But what's your favorite sounding game, real quick, before we kind of move
Favorite
towards other
sounding
stuff?
game?
Yeah, well, best sound design
or
and
Soundtrack.
score and sound effects overall.
Hmm.
The best in show.
That's a
I've
good
got
one.
a top 3.
Okay.
Let's hear it.
The Metal Gear Solid franchise
Oh.
has great stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and the best part is Tim introduced me to Rika, the girl who oversaw and composed all
Hi,
of it.
Rika.
Yeah, she's
Really?
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not only that, but I got to do exclusive Metal Gear Solid prints for her. So she's got 4 prints that I don't sell that are all Metal Gear Solid related. Which Metal Gear Solid growing up was my jam.
Yeah.
Me and Mitch were nerding out about
Yeah,
3 the other day, and I beat it. Me and my buddy beat it in 6 times in 1 week, and we were just trading it off and just going.
Yeah.
But that's got some of the best stuff, and Metal Gear Solid 4 really paid homage to it. Me and Mitch were also nerding out about that yesterday,
Mhm.
where it kind of goes through every game in this fist fight on top of a Metal Gear at the end of 4.
Mhm.
It's so cool because you get it's funny, I didn't remember, but you get different health bars.
Yeah.
But you get the different themes and stuff too. So that's in the top. I would have to say that just because of how good that ending for Mass Effect 3 is, that stuff's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And then I love the Dragon Age Inquisition one. Dragon Age
Really?
Inquisition was just great. Yeah, it just had these epic, I don't know, just feels
Scores.
epic. Yeah, you feel because in Dragon Age Inquisition you're in charge of you start out pretty early on. They're you're in charge. You have an army. They don't give you this weird hey, we're gonna build you into this giant guy who's got to be great. It's no, you're great. You're in charge. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
And they've got music that goes along with it really, really well.
Yeah.
And even on top of that, they have these little when you walk into this little tavern that's inside your Fort Skyhold. There's this little tavern track that they have. It's actually, I think it's 16 tracks or something like that. But they release those for free, and they're short, and they're just kind of it's standard fantasy tavern fare. But I love those too, and I feel those are coupled with it. It's
Yeah.
Mhm.
I listen to that stuff all the time.
Yeah.
You know, there's another game that kind of popped in my head that I would not have expected that it had good sound. It's not even a good game. 13? You remember 13?
Oh yeah.
I was surprised that
They
the
had
sound
a
in that-
kind of cool sort of 60s espionage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it had a great soundtrack, and then I also loved the visuals with the sound because
it's
that was the game where you
self-shaded.
could walk along, if enemies were outside of a wall, you could see comic book taps, tap, 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 walking through the halls because you could see
And
them,
when
but then you could also hear it.
When you get headshots, you get a couple of panels come up with
Yeah.
the headshot. Yeah. It's
So it
really
had this
cool.
great visual effect, but then it also had that was
I
coupled
used to
with this
love
great
that
sound
game.
effect.
That's a good. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's really good.
It had it had the soundtrack with it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool.
I didn't even ever get a chance to play that.
Oh,
game.
it's really good, dude. It's really good.
What about
There'll
you?
never be a sequel.
know.
Shadow of the Colossus is definitely up there. That's really good. I love the theme song to Fallout 3 and Fallout 4. I think both have amazing theme songs. I just get chills listening to
Are they both similar?
It's the
sorry, I haven't
same.
played
It's the
either
same
one of them,
song, but it's in Fallout 4 they've sort of composed it with an orchestra and everything, so it sounds really good.
You know, it deserves an honorable mention then.
What?
Skyrim. Because I imagine it's the same.
It's the
whenever
same
I,
sort of thing,
whenever I have
Because
game
it's just
soundtracks,
so powerful,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
whenever I have a game soundtrack radio playing on Google Play or Pandora or whatever, Skyrim's always popping up.
Oh,
Yeah.
Dovahkiin, Skyrim.
So yeah, that's a really good one, and I guess this is sort of cheating, but I love BioShock, so the BioShock soundtrack is really great.
One?
Yeah, it's kind of the actual game soundtrack isn't probably the greatest for me because it's all sort of violins, sort of screeching like Psycho sort of thing. But like the in-game music is great. Like I love all that kind of stuff, all the 50s and 40s stuff. And then one last one is Hotline Miami. I love the soundtrack to Hotline Miami.
Yeah.
But again, that's artists compiling tracks.
Yeah.
Like it's not an original
Speaking
soundtrack.
of artists compiling tracks and old 50s type stuff, Stubbs the Zombie.
Oh yes, now there's
fantastic.
the Ravenettes version of My
Right.
Boyfriend's Back. It's
Right?
the greatest thing ever. Yeah, it's so great.
Yeah?
If you guys haven't played that, you play as a zombie going through this like 50s era, and you're pulling out like your liver as bombs and throwing it. Like it's really awesome.
So that's where you got the idea for Buy Me.
Of course.
But it was funny because I remember, like, just a quick side note, like when that game came out, it didn't do very well.
No.
But I remember on the front cover it said like made with the same engine as Halo, and I was like, oh okay, I guess that's a selling point. But then on the Barbie game that came out, like the horse riding Barbie game that same week,
It said made from the same.
made with the same engine as Halo, and I was like, what the hell? Like,
Barbie!
yes. So it had the same mechanics, the same engine.
If there's a
that's
mod to
funny.
put Master Chief in the Barbie game, I might play it.
Or Barbie and
Yeah.
Halo
Put Master Chief in Barbie.
game.
Good. have Barbie riding Master Chief.
Scott. Too
Yeah.
Steve's just looking like,
I'm just like, man, like if I was Mitch and I knew my mom watched this, every time you talk, I'd be like, shit.
Mitch's mom, I need to tell you something. Thank you for giving me the snacks. I'm sorry that I say the things I say. I'm cursed with the mouth that I have, I think.
Mouth diarrhea.
Oh, you know
You were
what?
meant to be a sailor.
I don't know how I didn't mention it. World of Warcraft soundtrack.
I knew you were
Yeah.
going to say it. I thought you might be pulling back because you didn't want to be too predictable, but
Yeah.
you're that predictable.
Yeah, I am. It's funny because I was like, right after I like finished and you guys jumped over to somebody else, I was like, oh, dude, I didn't even say wow. And like, it's funny, the other day I'm watching like Monday Night Football with my sister, and she's like, what do you listen to? Because I have an earbud in, and I was like, Warcraft soundtrack. And she starts laughing at me, and she's like, of course you are. And I was like, it's good, trust me. And so I like gave it to her, and I was listening to the track "Way of the Monk," I believe is what it's called. It's from Mr. Pandaria, and she's like, listened to it. And she's like, "This is really good," and I'm like, "I know."
That's cool.
Well, that's kind of the cool thing is games have gotten to a point where they're hiring like
Yeah.
amazing artists
Yeah.
and orchestras and really putting a lot into it. And the games that do it right put a lot into their music because they understand how powerful it can be.
Well,
We haven't even mentioned the Zelda franchise.
yeah, I was
Right.
actually going to bring that up because here's one for you. Zelda's great, but actually when Zelda Ocarina of Time came out, one of my friends who's very much into sound now, he had a band for a while and did some other things, he absolutely hated the fact that the Zelda Ocarina of Time was all synth music. It wasn't like real orchestra recording. He's like, they could have this is Nintendo. They can
Yeah.
record full orchestra music onto this cartridge. Why didn't they do that? You know?
Wasn't that a pretty
And-
big game though?
What?
Wasn't that a pretty big game?
It was a huge
Oh,
game.
yeah.
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 See, and that's the thing is like maybe they didn't have enough space for like
Yeah.
all that, and that's the thing that people
And it
get
was
really,
pushing
like,
the graphics
like
for the
bent
for the-
on.
yeah,
I
for the
think.
game itself was.
Like people don't really understand sometimes like the technological like limitations that developers are in. Like all the people who complained about the first Fable, they're like, Peter Molyneux said that you could plant a tree and then you could cut the tree and you could watch that scar on the tree grow. It's like, all right, motherfucker.
Is that really what you want?
Well, it might be, but let's be realistic.
Yeah.
You're on the Xbox and you believe Peter Molyneux. You're an idiot.
You have no control of the dog.
No,
You have no control of the dog. You know, well, back to Ocarina of Time, like, the main instrument was the ocarina.
Yeah.
You know, like, they could have at least given us real ocarina
They could have, but
sounds.
I think having limitations really had them push the boundaries of what was possible with the sound and with the graphics in
Yeah.
that game. Knowing how much space they had, knowing how much power they had on the system.
And it's one of the first, like, real sandbox games, I would say. Like, it gives
Oh,
you
sure.
an open
Well,
world to
and-
really play with.
And think
Well-
about the 8-bit stuff that you were talking about earlier. None of that was an orchestra, and it still became this like ridiculous icon.
I don't think you have to go orchestra
No.
to make something special.
Sound good, yeah.
But it's cool that they're taking 8-bit music now, like with the Symphony of the Goddesses, and turning it back to the orchestra. You know, that's really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I mean, like, and Zelda in general, it's just like Mario. It's got the greatest like overture, you know, music, and then like any side music is always really interesting. Probably the only thing people would say is mind-numbing is the Deku Fortress thing. That music's like pounding you, but it's even great. It's pounding you, but it's still great, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Yes, Steve.
It's pounding you, but it's great. Quotes from Scott.
I need to start a book.
Yeah.
You've gotten a couple good ones just from this podcast alone.
So, on the movies?
Movies. I feel
Yeah.
like it's almost
Yeah.
like a very similar. It's almost the
Well-
exact same thing. And I mean, because
You think so?
because I mean, music really just kind of like, once again, it's not going to be one of those things that detracts from what you're doing. It just enhances everything. And I don't know, like, I think all the same stuff, like silence in horror movies, I think is just as powerful as it is in horror
Well-
games. I think it's a very similar thing. Music doesn't really change its role for the media it's going to. Music is music. That's it. That's all there is.
Yeah.
I think it does. Well, nowadays you have such epic gaming that you can bring these epic, melodies and music into it, and it all fits together. If you had like the original Zelda and you put the epic music that they're writing for the newest one to it, it wouldn't fit and it wouldn't feel right. You know what I mean? So I think that because the medium has changed more towards movies, that they're now kind of on a relatively even playing field when it comes to music. That's where that kind of lies. But
I would really love to play Mario 3 with orchestrated music.
Yeah, that'd be great.
that would be cool.
That would be cool. No, I think that like if you want to start out with films, is look at silent films, and they just took like a straight film and had someone sit at a piano and play what was going on, and they made some really amazing things. Like they could make you feel a certain way with the dude on a piano.
Yeah.
How cool did that have been to be a job? Is like, all right, start her up, and someone's doing the movie, and you're just playing the music to it.
Yeah, I love that aspect of it being so like spliced together, so like shoddy in a way, because it makes everything seem achievable.
Yeah.
Like at that time, I can see why people had a lot of creativity and still have a lot of creativity when they see things that they feel are achievable. They feel like they can do it. And now there's a lot of things where it almost feels like you need teams of people to build anything really substantial. And it doesn't stifle creativity, but it does make it a little more daunting.
Sure.
Rather than just seeing like, yeah, I can make a movie. I can make a stop action, Super 8 movie in my basement and then just go and do it,
Yeah, I don't even think you need teams of people nowadays, though. I mean, if you really just like dedicate the time and effort to it, we could do anything we want by ourselves.
Yeah.
It's like you look at some of like the special effects artists that we have on YouTube nowadays, and they're ridiculous. Like you can see just some of the craziest stuff, and it could be like one guy making stuff, but I don't know. I don't think you need those teams. I think more and more everything is achievable, like alone. It's just nicer to have a team.
Really, that's just come about in the last 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Because 10 years ago, nobody's sitting at home. I mean, 10 years ago, we were sitting at home making a movie, but we weren't putting special effects in it. We were just being idiots. But at that point, you'd go out and see a movie, and there was no way. I mean, you could take a camera out and go do some stuff, but very, very different than making explosions and editing things out and all that sort of thing. But now it is super achievable. I mean, you really can go out and get programs and pay Adobe $30 a month or whatever. I can't even remember the Creative Cloud is for just single users, but you can learn how to do almost anything, and you can do it.
Well, real quick shout out on silent films that had great music. Metropolis, awesome. Visuals and music, great movie. I love that movie. Original, like 1920s. Metropolis. And also, like current, but not. It's still in the old style. Is The Artist? Did you guys see that?
I never saw
that,
that actually.
That was great. Like the
That's
sound
really
in
cool.
that
It's
design
really clever.
was so brilliant. It was funny. Like when he wakes up and he's doing the silent film. He's like the star of the silent film, and then he all of a sudden wakes up and everyone was telling him that they were going to be moving forward and not doing silent films. And then he has this nightmare where he wakes up and he can actually hear sounds. And so they put sounds in the
it's like
thing,
a gag.
and he's like knocking over glass. He's like, "Oh God!" And he's like, but he can't talk. He starts running around, and he's just like, yelling in the thing, but things are making sounds and it's driving him nuts and just going crazy, and he has this nightmare of sounds, even though he lives in a world that has real sounds.
Yeah. It's really clever.
So
it's really clever.
It's so brilliant when it comes to sound effects and that.
I think if we're going like great movie soundtracks, it seems like we're going that way.
Yeah.
Hitchcock.
Yeah.
Oh, dude,
Everything Hitchcock. And in that same vein, The Machinist has a very Hitchcock sounding soundtrack.
Yeah.
Like,
I didn't even think about it. But it
Do you think
totally does.
everything Hitchcock
it's
though?
really
Like the birds?
most Hitchcock.
Those birds
soundtracks
were
are good.
horrendous.
It's iconic though, dude.
The
is.
Foley may have not been great.
Yeah, where the birds
Yeah.
like caw, and it's like way. Ooh.
But even at that,
But
it's
the
so
sound was
iconic, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I don't know, for its time, like, I've only seen the birds like once, like forever ago. But if you hear like, so for me, like, oh, birds.
Yeah.
But I would have to say that probably it's kind of a toss up for two soundtracks for me. For one, almost everything Hans Zimmer does is insanely good.
Mhm.
Like,
You did Charlie's Angels too?
Especially.
I think you did Charlie's
Did
Angels
he?
too. I had like a song from Charlie's Angels too that was Hans Zimmer. That was like a really cool, like Mexican style. Like
he did like so he's done like the Batman soundtracks. He did
Inception.
Inception. My absolute favorite that he's done is The Last Samurai.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I love that soundtrack. It's so good.
Did he do the Pirates?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Dude, he's done so much.
Yeah.
He's just
Yeah.
like, I'm a badass of music.
Him and John Williams. I mean,
Oh,
let's be
dude,
real.
I
They're
was
the
gonna-
music of movies.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was going to say Danny Elfman.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
And-
yeah.
yeah. Danny Elfman.
Danny Elfman does everything. And
Yeah.
people think of him, oh, he does Tim Burton stuff. But no.
He does a lot.
He
Yeah.
did the Avengers stuff. He did, I mean, he does amazing things outside of what people think Tim Burton chains him to.
Yeah. The other one that's
Hans Zimmer.
it's probably number 2 on my favorite. It's not Hans Zimmer.
Oh.
It's Daft Punk.
Oh.
The Tron soundtrack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that movie was subpar. It was okay. It was like a pretty watch. But I can watch that movie now just because I like that soundtrack so much.
Mhm.
I'm like, this is the shit. Like, it's like I'm just like getting excited for like what's coming up in the music.
Have you ever seen Drive?
No.
They do that too?
You're gonna love the soundtrack. No, they did do the soundtrack, but it's a very similar sort of synth poppy sort of 80s kind of vibe to it. It's really cool.
I was surprised because I was not into like Daft Punk or anything, and then I heard that soundtrack and I was like, "This is awesome." And then I decided to buy like their soundtrack right after that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, it's not.
No.
It's not as great, is it?
No, it's just overly repetitive.
Yeah,
But
yeah, I found that as well.
Tron Legacy was, or is it Legacy? Is it
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, was Legacy the TV show? I don't know. One of those.
They did a
Yeah.
remix of the soundtrack as well. I'd never
Yeah,
listened to
I've
that.
heard it. It's great.
Oh, was it?
It's great.
Okay.
What about you, Tim?
For a film?
And we're talking about, I guess, our favorites. If people haven't been listening.
Dude,
but,
I already mentioned Danny Elfman. I'm a sucker for his music.
Yeah,
And the Tim
yeah.
Burton style.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I love Danny Elfman.
And
I
Oingo Boingo. Especially Oingo Boingo.
I think his stuff is brilliant, even from like early Timber, where like Pee Wee. You know, like
Yeah,
he did
yeah.
a great score for Pee Wee's Big
Yeah.
Adventure, and it follows through all the way up to kind of like Charlie and Chalk Factory. Is kind of like come on, Danny.
Yeah.
What's
but
happening
that
there?
movie was shit.
Yeah.
It was, and him and Tim have done a lot of bad movies since then, and some good things. But it's what did you guys think about when they did the Nightmare Before Christmas? Like they re-released the album and let like other bands do covers of the Danny Elfman music.
I never actually heard
Awful.
of that. I
It's
didn't
bad.
want to.
yeah,
bad.
it's awful. Like
It's like My Chemical Romance and stuff like
Oh.
that.
like Fall Out Boy was
So
doing.
they're
stuff.
doing like, what's this? Da-da-da-da-da-da. And it's like that's such a great song, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what is this? Seriously, like, yeah,
You're
really?
right.
I only bought it for so I could hear the demo soundtracks that Danny Elfman did, and he's
Yeah,
singing
yeah,
all
yeah.
the songs. Like that's cool.
It sounds like I could possibly enjoy that. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh man, my favorite song in Nightmare is the Kidnapping Santa Claus song,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Fall Out Boy does that, or I think Fall Out Boy does that version, and it's awful.
Fall Out Boy has 2 songs that are guilty pleasures for me.
Yeah,
What are they?
Yeah. My songs Know What You Did in the Dark, and that stupid Century song that's been overplayed on the radio. But it's all like contextual for me. Like the first time I ever heard My Songs Know What You Did in the Dark,
Mm-hmm.
somebody had made like this really cool mashup of like all of Blizzard's like high
okay.
CG stuff to it. Imagine that. And then I'm a football fan, and the Saints had like the Saints were my team, and they put like the
Scouts.
Oh my god, they're so bad. But they put like the
prepared.
Century song, like to like some of their highlights,
Yeah.
and that was pretty cool. But that's the only reason I can even stand them.
Yeah.
Still, they're gonna be singing songs I don't like anyways because I never got into it.
Nah,
Any other ones on your end?
No, his favorite, or my favorite of his on that is, I think it's Jack Clement, where it's I, Jack, the
Yeah.
Pumpkin King.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, God. That's
A couple of favorite movies for me. Triplets of Belleville has a
Dude,
great soundtrack.
fantastic
Awesome visuals.
soundtrack.
Like, it's probably one of my favorite animated movies.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I don't know. I love the sound. Like when they're doing it. Like it's all over the book. Like the music is trying to do all sorts of things, but it's great. And then there's another one that I had in my head, but I forgot it. So we'll move on. I was gonna know Kong Fury.
Kung Fury.
Oh,
It's
Fury's dope. Dude.
Yeah, come on. Like he's
Sound
in
design and music.
his like his
Yeah.
his like house thing, and it goes up there. It's like wah, 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 and he's like sitting there with his like
what's
lady
that?
friend, like sexy like sax music. Yeah, I can't do
Yeah.
Foley of that.
Yeah.
That's my bicep.
But the sound design in that was
was
totally
fantastic.
retro
Yeah,
80s.
yeah.
Like the feel of the movie was great too. Like
Do you think there's a note that they missed with that movie? Because I think they hit everything that they were trying to do.
I mean,
Out
if
of
I
the
had to
park.
critique it like towards the middle and end, it just gets a little bit too sloppy. Like
Yeah.
it just
Really?
feels a little too not thrown in. Like everything's still really funny. I think once they get to Nazi Germany after the mustache joke. By the way, I rewatched that and I saw the subtitles.
It's a good mustache.
It's better with the subtitles, right?
It is.
Yeah.
But it's still a great joke without it. You can tell the whole feeling. But once they get into the Nazi, big arena thing, it just feels a little repetitive. They try and shoehorn in a couple things. Like, it's still great. I love all the stuff. I love the fighting scenes. I love all that stuff. But if I had to say, the jokes just feel a little, what was that? The one drawn out, kind of like what is it? The motorcycle guy who wants to ride the motorcycle, the SNL guys. No,
I think you lost us on that
What are
one.
you talking about, Scott?
I'll come back to it in a minute. I don't want the audience
Let's
like,
just wait
what
for
is he
Scott
talking
to-
about?
I got a guilty pleasure.
Oh.
The Buffy musical.
Hot Rod.
Buffy.
Really?
It's a little like that, where Hot Rod was a little repetitive.
Hot
Sorry.
Rod's got one
It
good
was
part
killing
in that
me.
movie.
It's got what?
It's got one good part, that movie.
What is
Hot
it?
Rod? Oh, it's when he's
Where
falling
he's-
down that damn hill.
Yeah.
He's like fight dancing in the forest and then he falls down the hill for like a minute and a half.
Yeah, that's a good. There are some good jokes in there, but it does feel like
Mm-hmm.
slopped in after a
Yeah.
while.
There's some good
Sorry,
stuff in
Mitch.
Buffy.
No,
though.
No,
yeah,
no.
I was gonna say. Did you say Buffy the musical?
Buffy the musical.
Oh shit, no, I don't know.
I didn't
that
even know that was a thing.
You didn't?
No.
Oh man, there's an episode in season.
one. Oh, so it is the
6,
beak though.
I think. What's that?
It is the beak though in it. Sarah Michelle Gellar.
The beat.
Oh yeah,
With her beak.
it's a cute button nose.
You're talking to two people who have kind of beaks. So
Yeah.
I've got
Chill
kind
out.
of a beak, dude.
not
Oh,
really.
If we all turn sideways, it look like bookends. But
My profile is Alfred Hitchcock. Let's be real.
if we swim backwards, people shout sharp. But in season 6, I think there's a musical episode where there's a demon that just casts a spell on Sunnydale, and they all wake up and they're in a musical. They can't get out of it. So every 5 minutes
Brilliant.
they burst into song. So the songs are like expertly composed into like actual musical songs.
Is it
And-
dancing?
What's that?
Do they dance?
Yeah, they dance and sing. There's a Buffy's sister Dawn does a ballet in it, which is really cool.
That was Alicia Cuthbert, right?
No, it is Michelle Trachtenberg.
Harriet the Spy.
Yeah, that's it. That's the one. So that's really cool, and it's not great. Like Buffy's songs, if I'm honest, are a little nasally.
But you like it because it's
What?
Buffy.
I actually like Giles. I think he bursts out these power ballads.
Yeah.
And Spike has got like the greatest song on the soundtrack. It's so good because he's basically Billy Idol. So his song is Billy Idol's like kind of sounding 80s song, like which is really awesome. So yeah, that's my kind of guilty pleasure. I love listening to that soundtrack.
Well, yeah.
That's awesome.
I don't think I have a guilty pleasure. I'm down with whatever music. Like those two Fall Out Boy songs, those are my guilty pleasures.
Yeah.
I don't want to like Fall Out Boy. They suck.
well, what was a bad, really bad musical or song, or if you want to go into audio fiasco, the Ninja Turtles Christmas episode.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I ever watched that?
That's beyond us, dude.
We'll watch. We'll have to put a link there or
Yeah,
watch that
yeah.
later because it is like it's when they did their whole like Ninja Turtles the band. And they went around the country. Do
you guys remember
Turtles on Ice or something?
Do you remember that Sonic cartoon that they were in a band?
Oh,
What?
Like,
briefly.
hardly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It was like the height of 90s, like cringeworthy TV.
Have
but
you
it
guys
was.
gone back and watched those cartoons that we used to watch though? Like X-Men sucks. So
Oh, yeah.
No, dude, I have all.
DuckTales is even pretty hard to watch.
Dude,
Yeah.
Even
I
though it's-
love DuckTales.
I love DuckTales, but like
DuckTales.
you watching it, it's like whoa. Why do you guys do that in unison? Too?
Yeah, I
Like,
know, right?
How do you not even do that when someone says DuckTales?
I know.
Yeah, it's like right there.
No, but that you knew watching it was terrible, right? So Huey, Dewey, and Louie make the like badass car over the phone when they want to trade cards with the guy. You guys have never seen this?
Yeah.
You should watch this.
No.
It's really bad.
If you've never seen DuckTales, everyone's seen DuckTales.
This
even like
specific
kids.
episode, but you knew it was bad when you were watching it. So going back, I was like, yeah, this is exactly what I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the song is great. That pops back into like great music and stuff. The song on DuckTales super like catchy. Everyone knows it. Everyone loves
Tailspin.
it. Tailspin, even though it's an awful show,
X-Men.
like
Oh, yeah.
X-Men's
Yeah,
pretty good.
X-Men.
What about Darkwing Duck? Darkwing Duck,
let's
let's get dangerous. Come on, I mean like those were 90s like.
I hate the
TV.
show, but Inspector
You
Gadget.
know what a
Yeah.
terrible one is?
What?
Iron Man.
Oh.
Yeah, but do you remember the intro?
Iron
And he's all
Man.
shirtless and he's like pouring molten lava into the
And he's hammering stuff.
shit. He's got like a mullet, I think, as well,
Yeah.
which is like, oh,
Come on, that didn't do it for you.
I was all about like the comic book cartoons, and I remember thinking like Fantastic Four is better than this, and I only watch it for War Machine.
Yeah. X-Men was great. I think you said X-Men, or who said
Yeah,
X-Men?
X-Men, but
Great
great song,
Yeah.
but man, that did not age well.
Oh, no,
No.
it's rough.
No.
It's rough around the edges.
But even the effects on that is really cool. Like to the animation,
No.
like that's pretty fun. It's
No.
cheesy, but it's fun.
Rewatch it.
Super
you haven't
cheese,
seen it. It's
dude.
bad.
It is bad.
It's real bad.
It's almost as bad as watching He-Man. It's
Yeah.
snarf, snarf.
They tried to detail like a lot of the shots, and
Yeah.
it just makes it look so bad because it's not consistent ever.
No.
I noticed that a lot of the characters are just kind of squat all the time. They just sort of like,
Yeah.
they're in that sort of action pose.
They look like a muscle.
Yeah,
Like it's just
yeah.
like all this muscle.
Since we're doing TV show theme songs, Thunder, 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 Cats.
Never watched Thundercats.
You never watched
Thundercats?
I started watching some of the newer
That's-
Thundercats, and I couldn't get into it.
Oh well, no, I didn't. watch
Really
any
cool
of the newer
character
ones,
design
but-
though. Like they did really great on the art.
Yeah, that does have cool effects. Like the Thundercats, like little like she grabs into it and it's like a lightning bolt.
Yeah.
Like that's freaking cool. But yeah, any other cool TV shows?
I think
Oh,
that,
man.
90s especially.
Yeah, we've run the gamut today.
is there any news or anything anybody wants to talk about? Anything?
News? No, not so much.
Nothing really in the world of...
No.
It's a weird time of year because like nothing's
Yeah,
being
it's a
announced. Right now, we're just waiting.
Mhm.
You give it like 2
2
weeks,
weeks for,
and we're
Star
gonna be
Wars.
shitting ourselves over
Yeah.
Star Wars,
Yeah.
or be
Because
shitting
it'll be
on
so
J.J.
bad.
Abrams.
I don't think we will. Are you gonna shit on him if it like?
No.
I guess we're going into Star Wars. a
I
bit, but-
actually feel full like fully confident. I'm not worried that I'm going to dislike this movie at all. I think I'm going to love it.
Yeah.
we
I-
didn't jerk over John Williams really yet. His stuff is amazing. Everything
Yeah.
John
Oh, yeah,
Williams.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well,
Just Hans Zimmer's the best. So I'm just
You think
speaking
Hans
of-
Zimmer's better than John Williams?
easy,
Mm.
easy.
Speaking of...
Them's fighting words, dude.
What else has he done?
Indiana Jones.
Yes, Indiana
Star
Jones is
Wars.
good. Star Wars is good. Okay.
He's done like everything.
going.
In fact,
No, keep
actually,
going,
I think it
keep
was
going.
like
Let's hear it.
to
Keep
Still a
going.
Million or something. He did the
Let's hear some more names.
stuff for
Incredible
that.
music.
Way back then, that was like one of his first movies.
Who did the Back to the Future soundtrack?
Back to the Future, Huey Lewis in the News. did
No, I mean, like,
Power
the-
of
the-
Love.
yeah.
Power of Love.
No, no,
Well,
but I mean the main
soundtrack.
song.
The soundtrack was done by like an orchestra. Like it was one of the largest.
He was a composer. Yeah, because whoever composed that did a great job.
It was like one of the
I'm
largest
looking it up.
orchestras ever assembled to that time for a movie. That's why it was like so robust. Like I love that. The music for that is like everything's.
Don't get me
amazing.
wrong. Williams is good, but he's not on Hans Zimmer's level.
You think so?
Yeah. Easy.
Let's touch on Bond themes real quick, because I just the other day I listened. I was like, oh, I want to sort of remind myself of like all the latest Craig Bond themes, and I completely forgot that Soundgarden did one and the White Stripes.
Oh, did White Stripes do one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
they
White
the
Stripes
second
did
one, right?
Quantum of Solace.
Yeah.
Soundgarden, or
Was
the
number
guy from
one.
Soundgarden, was Casino Royale.
How's Casino Royale go? I can't remember it.
You know his name. You know his name. And it's like, yeah.
I don't think I liked that one if I remember it.
It was pretty cool. I think it's just kind of, it's really rock.
I think
it's like hardcore rock.
Best Bond. I guess I'll do the top two because these are my favorite ones.
Alan Silvestri.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Skyfall was good. That's number 2. I think that's
Yeah.
pretty good.
I like Skyfall the best.
And then number 1, Live and Let Die. Live and Let Die. You know, that's great. Like,
That's-
friggin' Wings, right?
Yeah, Wings. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I listened to the new one again, the Spectre one, and it's just
Oh,
not as
man.
good.
It's
like,
so bad.
who's the guy that does it? Something
I don't know.
Haim or something. But it. Oh yeah, I was just like, I'm really trying to sort of get into this, but it's a bit weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they're trying to kind of do a thing like Skyfall was, but they didn't know how to really approach it with a male singer and
Adele,
trying to be
like-
like diva-y.
Adele's Skyfall, she's like really sort of channeling Shirley Bassey.
Yeah, I don't like it.
You don't
You don't like it at
He
all?
hates Adele.
Oh,
It's
okay.
the lightest.
See, my brother feels the same way. He like totally hates Adele, but he's okay with Skyfall. But I think it's really I actually recently went online and listened to a bunch of different Bond beginnings. It is the top 2: Skyfall, Live Let Die.
There's some
I mean,
weird ones like Duran Duran and stuff. It's
Yeah.
like, oh man, like yeah.
You don't like Duran Duran?
No, I agree. I was just it's an odd choice to have.
What
as a-
one
Yeah.
would you say?
Oh,
is the
actually,
best?
no. I tell you what. Garbage. I like Garbage's one.
Yeah.
What do they do?
The world is not enough.
Yeah.
That one was good.
Oh.
That one's awesome.
No.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that. I don't know what's the best, but it's sure as shit not Adele.
See, but that's you just hating Adele.
It's true.
Yeah.
So you don't think
I
you
will
don't
admit,
have a favorite?
I will admit,
I don't know
Skyfall's
if
song
I
is,
have.
is a little slow. I was
Yeah.
Oh,
it sort
it's
of builds.
slow,
It doesn't
but-
really get much more than that. So
But it's got good like melody and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah.
And as much as he may hate her, it's still good.
Mm.
You know, it's funny. If I'm being honest, like as much as I liked Live and Let Die, I'd say that's my number 1. But
God damn it, Scott.
I love repeating that. But what I was gonna say was. But what I was gonna say was, that is a great song, but it doesn't set you in the mood for Bond. If you're looking at like what Bond means, it doesn't really mean what
No,
Live
it's
and Let
not-
Die
no.
is screaming. But it's just a great song. You know, I think
Yeah.
Paul McCartney did that, right?
Paul McCartney,
yeah, and
Yeah.
the wings.
So I
Gets you in the
mean,
mood for a skiing scene.
yeah, like it doesn't put you in the James Bond like spy theme
Yeah,
area.
yeah. No, I agree.
But it like I said, it's such a good song. I give it a pass.
Wow.
All right.
There we go.
Man, you guys got anything else?
I mean, there's plenty to talk about. You're friggin' John Williams hater over here.
Here's the thing.
I
like-
said he's good. I'm just saying because I just think Hans Zimmer is like
Hans Zimmer's.
the best of the best.
Yeah.
You think so?
Well,
I don't think he's the best.
I don't know
of
if he's the
best.
best. He's
No.
really good.
His music is more powerful than like the catchy stuff that we've got for Star Wars. Like Star Wars and Indiana Jones is iconic, and it's transcended into that. But like Hans Zimmer does powerful scores, and that's and that
okay,
appeals to
all right.
me.
It is powerful, but it's difficult to mimic. It's difficult to sing, and I think that's that's part of an element that makes a song so memorable. Is that you can hum it or you can sing it. Like, sing me the song to Inception. Bah. Yeah, it's not. It doesn't have the same sort of thing as like the main theme to Star Wars. You know, and I think that's like he's a great like composer. But it's not like, again, the Man of Steel soundtrack. As much as I hate Man of Steel, the soundtrack's amazing.
Oh, it's so good.
But like, it's difficult to sing or to hum or to explain to someone.
I think I like music that's bold, like in its choice of like how it's presented, and it's like really straightforward and bold and to the point of what it's trying to convey. And I think John Williams does that in full. Hans Zimmer also does it really well. I'd say they're like pretty evenly matched, but I still think I like John Williams better than Hans Zimmer.
Zimmerman does feeling better than John Williams. He portrays and forces you to feel a certain way rather than just get something stuck in your head, which that's not all John does, but it gets stuck in your head and it does portray a feeling, but he's a lot better at injecting a melody and things like that.
I would say branding.
There you go.
Yeah.
Branding.
Yeah.
We're missing a really important theme, guys.
What?
The Batman animated theme.
I just didn't want to get started because how much time do we have? Like,
We probably
We're
already
talking
got
the
over that.
90s Batman animated series.
Oh,
that
yeah.
theme is one of the
but
best.
that's Danny Elfman.
It's so like, and that's the thing. Like Danny Elfman, like that was where he was Batman, the original Batman movie with Tim Burton. Like the soundtrack in that, even if you don't like the movie that much, even though I don't know why you wouldn't like the movie, it's great. But if you didn't like it, like the soundtrack on that is totally and utterly Batman, like to the core.
Oh yeah.
Well, it kind of did exactly what Williams did for Star Wars. It just branded it.
Mm-hmm.
Like every time you hear that, like you see him in your mind standing on top of the building, and then the thunder strikes or lightning strikes. It's that's so badass. I don't know. You can't ever beat that. Like you can't beat like the 90s Batman. It's not like those other cartoons that aged and is shit now. You go back and watch it now, and you're like, damn.
Oh yeah, we watched an episode the
Over
other
the
day in the
Edge.
studio.
Oh my god,
dude.
Over the Edge is one of the greatest episodes ever.
Of Batman?
I think it is the greatest episode.
It is.
If you don't see because I miss like the very beginning, and I just came in like right when everything's getting really crazy. I was like, what the fuck is happening? Gordon's
Cartoons.
trying to kill him.
Yeah.
Like
it's-
Batgirl's dead. What?
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. It's
I've got to watch it. You guys watch all these fun things without me.
I know.
Well, come hang out. every once in a while.
A real quick sort of honorable mention.
Yeah.
The superhero soundtracks are good. Not all, but like the Avengers theme is really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think
He
as
brought
much as
that
you're
up.
gonna
Yeah,
as
Danny
much as you're gonna
Elfman.
hate it, Spider-Man, the original.
No, I think-
Spider-Man
no.
film.
No, the theme was
No.
really good.
Dude, the only thing that I hate about those movies is
It's
how-
the actors.
Yeah, the two the two leads. And
All right.
I've never run into a Spider-Man fan that's like, yeah, that was Mary Jane. And there are some Spider-Man fans that are like, yeah, that was Peter Parker, but yeah. But
We
everything
won't
else
get
is
into it.
fine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
everything else is fine. Like the music was fine. Like
Yeah.
that being said, Hans Zimmer did the soundtrack for Spider-Man 2, and I think it was one of his only misses. I still really love it, but tonally, it felt way different than what was going on in the movie. But I still love the soundtrack, just separate from the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it's because I can be honest, like even when I just like stuff because it's bad, like I can say, yeah, like this has a ton of flaws. Like The Amazing Spider-Man 2 had a ton of flaws, and I like it just because I like it. But
All right.
Cool.
There we go. And as a sort of caveat, like we have missed so many
Yeah, we should do a
So-
shout out to everyone who
Yeah.
ever wants to listen. Whoever
game
has
and
listened.
film soundtracks. Like
Yeah, post them on Facebook and let us know what your thoughts are. If you think John Williams is better than.
Hans Zimmerman.
I'm
We'll
totally
put
getting
up a
your go.
poll
You're just
with your face and Crow's face.
but like tell us what you think. Do you like what's your favorite Bond song or Bond song?
do you think Tim should like Adele?
No. You don't, and you shouldn't.
So please let us know. We want to know what your guys' thoughts are and where you're at. And
Speaking of Facebook, we're on there.
Yeah.
Speaking of YouTube, go there to
Yeah.
watch us because
Yeah.
we're on there. Speaking of podcasts, which you're listening to, you should go to podcast.pixelwinkers.com and subscribe to the Podbean one there because that's where we're going to put everything. And yeah.
also, just a little teaser because it's expensive. I want to tease it. The loot crate because I'm doing 2 loot crates next month.
Oh, you're getting both of them?
They're doing the regular loot crate, and then they're doing the Star Wars regular loot crate, like its own. And I got it, so we're gonna do it.
Awesome.
Hopefully
Awesome.
it's something good because it's a little pricey. But that out there for you. Tell us what you think and have a blast.
Yeah.
Cool.
See you next time.
thank you.
Bye.
Bye.